Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Opinions That Matter. As we all move into the season of brand planning for the next financial year, it is but an opportune time to talk on effective brand planning. Today, we have the pleasure of having Mr. Sameer Desai, President, BU Biologics at Zydus Cadila Healthcare. With a career spanning over 30 years, Sameer sir has seen the change in dynamics and how the Indian pharma industry has evolved over the years. We take this opportunity to try and find answers for some of the very interesting questions that brand managers come across. Sameer sir, welcome to Opinions That Matter. Let me begin with asking what are the major components of an effective brand plan and if the traditional model still holds true.
When it comes to the major components of a brand plan, I believe not much has changed, except for the fact that today far more granular details are both available and essential to be used in the preparation of an effective brand plan. The Indian pharma market has almost always been a branded generics market. But the challenge remains that even among branded generics, there are plenty of options, most of them being segregated by the repute of the company that promotes the product, the quality attributes of the product, and certainly the communication as well as the delivery of the medical representative or the therapy manager who's promoting the product to the doctor. Not to discount the importance of the long-term relationships that are built through continuous and sustained services. Be it segmentation, be it situation analysis, objectives, planning of the strategy, the tactics to carry forward that strategy and get it actually implemented in the marketplace, preparing an action plan, and ultimately monitoring the implementation of that monitoring plan, which loosely can be translated as control, are important and continue to remain important, even more so as the market becomes more and more fragmented.
So, if I'm understanding this right, your recommendation is that the traditional model of situation analysis, objective, strategy, tactical action plan, and control is still one of the most effective ways of planning. Now, sir, we hear many marketing gurus talk about market segmentation and communication strategy that are more region specific. What are your opinions on this?
India is very diverse and fragmented market. There are divisions by way of regional preferences as well as from the perspective of the healthcare infrastructure. Metro and A-class cities have a completely different demographic when it comes to the doctor population and the ways in which patients access healthcare as compared to the semi-urban and rural markets where the healthcare infrastructure is of a very different quality and order, as well as the ways in which people seek healthcare, the referrals, etc. that happen are very different from those in the metro and A-class markets. It also differs from perspective of therapies. So when it comes to market segmentation and communication strategy that is more region specific, indeed this can be used to differentiate and to leverage the maximum potential of a brand in different settings. However, the core messaging of the brand needs to remain consistent throughout the country, because ultimately when it comes to dealing with a particular ailment, the brand does deliver certain outcomes which are consistent universally, and that is what that needs to be established through brand communication.
Sir, I believe this statement needs to be at the top of the idea board when brand managers are brainstorming. Very valid. Now, how do we deal with consistency in communication when the brand is changing hands from one custodian to the other? Many a times we see a proper handover is not executed by the existing employee. Sometimes it is because of the situation, sometimes intentional. But then at the end of the day, the repercussion is that the new brand manager is kind of lost and may not be in a position to continue with the communication that has been going on for quite some time with the brand.
Consistency of communication and the content that a brand intends to deliver is very, very important. In the digital era today, it is both inconceivable and inexcusable if the brand handover doesn't happen effectively. Gone are the days when one had to create archives of hard copies and memos and notes to make sure that the brand files were kept intact and then handed over. Bulky brand files had to be handed over to the succeeding brand managers. Today, in the digital era, most of it is very well recorded and can certainly be handed down from one brand manager to another. What marketing heads and business heads need to always ensure is that brand managers are but temporary custodians of brands, and while they may move from one brand to another, managing one brand to another brand or another portfolio, brands are the most important assets of an organization and therefore must be handled with extreme care and caution. And therefore, the consistency of a brand, because ultimately the brand promise is delivered through the brand communication. And unless that remains consistent, that remains constant. And while the tactics may keep changing, the core message, unless it remains the same and gets universally accepted and communicated, the brand does not really consolidate its presence in the mind space of the doctor. And therefore, it becomes absolutely essential to maintain the consistency of communication and the content terms of the brand strategy.
So the division heads and the marketing heads are the real custodians, and the brand manager holds an equally important role. However, they should not be the only ones responsible to ensure the brand's communication strategy is in line with the core message. But sir, does the communication matter as much anymore? We hear many HCPs today give a 30 seconds call where the brand detailing is neither possible nor effective. How should the marketing team strategize against this?
A brand name only call essentially underlines the fact that the doctor neither sees any value in the communication that the medical rep is attempting to make with it in the chamber, or the potential of a brand to help the doctor further his or her practice or to deliver better outcomes for his patients. Essentially, this means that a relationship, a rapport, an opportunity and a value proposition has not really been struck with the doctor. A brand manager needs to create far more concise, crisp, and patient outcome oriented communication strategies. Today, with the digital technologies being available and in most companies, the flip chart having given way to iPads and to tabs, it is possible to use the digital medium far more effectively and create short, crisp communication capsules which help the medical representative deliver the brand message much more crisply. Essentially, when the doctor says brand name only, the doctor is saying that the run-of-the-mill communication is not really going to make any impact on me, and that's a waste of time. So make the communication far more effective, start and end with very specific treatment outcome related points rather than speaking about brand features ad nauseum is what should be a brand manager's mandate in today's circumstances.
Sir, in line with my earlier question on HCPs, I would like to get your view on a fact that cannot be shoved under the carpet anymore. A good percentage of HCPs today prescribe under some or the other obligation instead of science, quality, or price benefit to the patients. What role should the brand manager take upon in this situation?
I'm a firm believer of the fact that the euphemistically styled customer relationship management cannot be substitute for hard work, strong and effective communication, and a very strong brand strategy in terms of positioning, segmentation, and communication. While these tactics, as widely employed as they are, can build a bridge and open the door of the medical representative to a doctor's chamber, make the doctor more accessible to the medical representative and to the company in general. Whether or not a doctor will continue to prescribe your product essentially depends on whether the product delivers what it is expected to deliver for the patient, because ultimately the doctor is also focused on ensuring better health outcomes for their patients. In fact, the importance of the marketing team is further underlined by the fact that when everyone, all companies are essentially investing significant amounts of time and effort and money in nurturing, building, and establishing these customer relations, so to speak. The differentiation in terms of creating brand value depends almost entirely on the brand manager's ability to strongly promote his brand through his field force, and a better trained field force more adept at making strong and crisp communication, and a brand that delivers on the promise that it makes to the doctor and to the patient are very essential for success in today's scenario. So yes, there are considerations other than just the brand features or attributes, but if your brand is seen as just one among many, it is more vulnerable to lose out in such a scenario. If your brand is seen as brand that stands out compared to the others, it increases your chances of winning. So I believe the importance of the marketing team is greater than ever in today's times.
Sameer sir, please correct me if I'm wrong. But in the last decade or so, we have seen many managers from the sales team start their own pharma companies. While they have a very tactical approach towards the brand promotion, the problem starts when young brand managers get swayed by the market intelligence and start thinking on similar lines. What are your views on this? And do you believe this can impact the industry overall?
Indeed, with many third-party manufacturers being readily available and pharma professionals believing that they have a strong hold over a small group of customers, this trend of one-man pharma companies has been strengthened over the last few years. And while it does have a temporary effect, one must understand that for any company to be sustaining and growing sustainably over a long period of time, it requires a large customer base. It requires a team of people that bring up the brand in the marketplace. It requires strong distribution and whatnot. And therefore, these one-man pharma companies, unless they graduate to becoming regular small or mid-sized pharma companies and employ most of the techniques that pharma companies have always employed in terms of having a good stable field force, strong distribution, good promotion of the products, and ethical promotion of the products, they do not really pose any threat on a long-term sustainable basis. We've seen a few examples of startups becoming large enough. A few very glittering examples are there in the industry. But if you were to examine them, you would find that they quickly moved from being one-man pharma company focused on a few doctors to becoming regularly organized pharma companies with at least a region-specific, if not a country-wide appeal. So unless these one-trick ponies were to metamorphose into more regular pharma companies, they wouldn't pose any sustainable long-term threat to the industry in general. If they do, they are more than welcome to join our ever-growing industry.
I have been enjoying this conversation to such an extent that I lost track of time completely. Now, before we conclude, sir, I have one last question to ask. As an industry, we have had an experience on digitizing sales and marketing efforts during this COVID lockdown. Are there any learnings from this experience that we should probably not want to continue with going forward?
The adoption of digital platforms was both compulsory and very rapid during the COVID pandemic. Most pharma companies had to stop on-field marketing efforts and had to switch to the digital medium. What started with WhatsApp forwards, messages and Zoom calls, etc., very quickly formalized into most companies organizing good digital outreach programs through their own platforms or through partnerships with well-established platforms. Most of it is now here to stay. I look forward to a future where our promotion and marketing efforts are almost always going to remain hybrid, as in they will not always be only face-to-face, nor would they ever be only digital. It would be a mix of digital and physical, what is now being commonly referred to as phygital efforts in terms of sales and marketing. The one trend which I believe will not continue on an ongoing basis going forward was the spate of webinars and web-based CMEs that happened. Most companies found that to be a good way to quickly connect with doctors at the start of the pandemic. Even the doctors were not attending to their clinics in many cases and had some time, and they were open to attending these webinars, etc. But today, unless your webinar is delivering real quality, as in terms of the content, of the value of the speakers, and the topics that are relevant to their practice, the attendance in these webinars, etc., have gone down significantly. And I believe the use of these conferencing platforms or conferencing opportunities is going to be far more limited than what it was at the start of the pandemic. I think that is one trend which is going to see some level of attrition. Rest of it, whether it is in terms of Salesforce automation and Salesforce effectiveness related initiatives that were taken through the digital platforms over the last 1.5 years, or it was dissemination of knowledge, information, or connecting with doctors and helping doctors connect with patients through teleconsultation and practice management programs, I believe is here to stay.
So thank you so much for giving us time from your busy schedule and sharing your thoughts with us. It was very interesting and extremely informative interacting with you today.
Thank you.
With this, we also wrap up the IPM Performance webinar for the day. Thank you all for joining in. In case you have any feedbacks or suggestions, feel free to drop in a mail or call our client servicing team. Have a great day ahead.